we're going to use an advanced training technique called pre-exhaust training, and this is where you complete an isolation exercise followed by a compound movement with little to no rest in between. And we do this because the total bodybuilding effect comes about when you fully innervate and stimulate as many fibres in the muscle as possible. But because some muscles are larger than others, they'll still have unused fibre available when the smaller muscles are exhausted. So we compensate for this with pre-exhaust training by isolating and pre-fatiguing the larger muscle first, before then training it in combination with the smaller muscles. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah, so leg extensions before squats is a great pre-fatigue routine to pre-fatigue the quadriceps. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to start with leg extensions and then go straight into squats. Okay, so leg extensions then, they define and shape the front of the thigh where you've got the quadriceps. They're great for getting really deep definition without losing size, and they're especially good for developing the area around the knee. Okay, so I'll just show you how to perform this exercise. So what you want to do is just going to sit back and hook your feet under the padded bar, and then you're going to extend your legs as far as possible until they are locked out to achieve maximum concentration of the quadriceps. Okay. And then you're going to lower the weight under control until your feet are no further back than your knees and your thighs are fully stretched out. You're going to do 10 repetitions of those. Okay, so notice I'm extending my legs until they're locked out to achieve maximum contraction of the quadriceps, and then lowering under control until my thighs are fully stretched out. Does that make sense to you? Yeah? Yeah? So then after you've done 10 repetitions of those, we're going to go straight into squats. So we'll go over to the squat rack now. So now we're going to do some squats. Squats, they build mass and strength in the legs, especially the thighs. Primarily, they develop all four heads of the quadriceps. And what you're going to do with a barbell on a rack, you're just going to step under it and rest the bar across the back of your shoulders, then raise it up off the rack and step away. Now your foot position determines which area of the thigh you work the most, and because we're training for overall development, you're going to want a shoulder width stance and your toes pointing slightly out. Okay, I'm just to pop this back on the rack for a bit, just to explain a few more things. Okay, now ideally you want to be squatting with your back as straight as possible so that you keep your lower back out of the movement and keep the stress on the thighs and your glutes where it needs to be. But your technique could vary depending on your physical proportions. So if you've got long legs, you might find that you're forced to lean forward, which in which case is going to inevitably bring your lower back into the movement. And we might just need to include some front squats in your program to ensure your quads are getting emphasised if that's the case with yourself. But ideally you'll squat with your back as straight as possible, and the bar will be in line with your rear end as you squat down. Okay, then you're going to bend your knees and squat down until your legs are just below parallel to the floor. And the reason that I want you to go until your thighs are just below parallel to the floor is so that you develop strength across the entire range of motion. Because if you don't go low enough in the beginning, you could injure yourself later on when we start adding heavier weight, because you haven't developed the strength across the entire range of motion. And of course we will be going heavier later on with yourself because we're building up to do heavy squats. So it's really important for yourself that you do make sure that that you squat until your thighs are just below parallel to the floor. And then you're just going to pause for a moment and push yourself back up to the starting position. So I'm just going to demonstrate that for you so you know what that's supposed to look like. Okay, so like I said, shoulder width stance, toes pointing slightly outward. Okay, then you're just going to keeping your back as straight as possible, so keeping your head up and your back as straight as possible. Just lower yourself until your thighs are just below parallel, pause for a moment, and then straight back up to the starting position. Okay, so it should look like this. Okay, got the idea?
Yeah.
Sit yourself down then. Brilliant. Hook your feet under the padded bar there. Great. Okay, so 10 repetitions. Okay. Right, fully extend those legs till they're locked out to achieve maximum contraction of your quads. Yep. You don't need to lower it that slowly. Brilliant. 3. A little bit further back. Try and pause at the top a little bit longer if you can. Okay. I want you to bring your legs a little bit. Okay, lock them out. That's it. Pause and down. Two more. Hold. Yeah. Lock your legs out, hold, yeah, and down. Okay, it's 10 repetitions, I think. Right, how'd that feel?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, right, let's go and do some squats then. Straight into 10 reps of squats then, Alex. Are you ready?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll just hand you the bar. Okay. Okay, so shoulder width stance for me and toes pointed just slightly out, so we're training for overall development. Good. Yeah. Okay, remember to, that's it. 1, pause for a little bit as you go down. 2, keeping that back as straight as possible for me. 3, 4. I want you to go just a little bit more, so your thighs are just below parallel to the floor if you can. 5, good. Don't take your heels off the floor if you can. 6, okay. 7. You're leaning quite far forward, so if you can, keep that back more straight for me. 8, and don't take your... I'm going to stop you a moment there actually, Alex, because of your form. I'm concerned for, I don't want you to cause yourself an injury. Your weight at the moment is on your toes and you're actually lifting your heels off the floor. What you want to do is keep the weight on your heels if you can. So you just be conscious that your weight needs to be more on your heels, not on your toes. Think of it as if you're sitting back into an armchair, yeah? So 9, 10, yeah. Okay, so on your next set, I'm just going to help you a little bit more with your form because, do you want to hand me that? So I'm just concerned that for some reason your heels are coming off the floor as you're squatting, so that shouldn't really be happening. You need to keep the weight on your heels, and I want you to ensure that when you do squat, try and go down low enough so that that's it, yes, and pause for a moment. One more time for me like that, yeah, and then you just want to pause for a moment before you push yourself back up to the starting position, and your back is coming quite far forward, which is probably going to bring your lower back into the movement, so we don't want that. We want the stress on your quads and your glutes, okay? So try to keep your back as more straight if you can and keep, yeah? Okay. All right, so we'll go up and we'll give a minute's rest then, and we'll go into our second set. So when we come back down to do your next set of squats, just try and bear those points in mind for me. Okay, good, let's go.